Can horror movie killers survive the back rooms, guys? Let's get into it.
A research company called Async opened a door into a parallel dimension. By 1990, most of their researchers were dead. Not from monsters that they brought in, but from something that was already there. Something that grew out of the mold of the walls. Mimics human voices to lure you closer, and opens up where its face should be. That thing, the life form, the bacteria, whatever you want to call it, has never lost. It's killed every entity type that's wandered into the back rooms. Humans, obviously, but also things that aren't human. Things that thought that they were the apex predators. So I wanted to test it against the best horror has to offer. Tons of different monsters from horror movies. Gods, demons, cosmic predators. Well, I dropped all of them into Kane Pixel's backrooms, the dimension that broke researchers, bent time, and grows its own monsters out of mutant bacteria. And one by one, I watched what happens when apex predators become prey.
Who y'all think gonna survive this shit? I ain't gonna lie. Damn. All I know, Pinhead surviving that shit. Pinhead surviving it. Freddy Krueger surviving it. Pennywise surviving it. And they throw in any paranormal motherfucker. 9 out of 10, they surviving it. I fuck with my Ghostface, man, but he's getting fucked up. Ghostface is getting fucked up. Who else? I don't know. Chucky might survive it, but I think he's gonna get fucked up too. Who else? Man, let's get into it. Fuck it.
Most of them die badly.
Let's see what he got
A
in.
few of them adapt, and one of them, I need you to understand how bad this gets, somehow finds a way to make the backrooms even worse. Let's get into it. We're starting with the biggest gun in the lineup. Jean Jacket from Nope is a 250-foot sky predator.
I haven't even watched Nope yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch Nope tonight, cause what the fuck is this shit called? The Jean Jacket entity?
In the lineup. Jean Jacket from Nope is a 250-foot sky predator, basically a flying mouth the size of a football stadium. It swallows horses whole and disappears into the clouds before anyone
You
can
sure that's
figure out
not a
what just
UFO
happened.
game?
In its own movie, the only way to survive was to never look at it, because eye contact meant death. And now it's trapped in a dimension with 8-foot ceilings. Think about what that looks like. A creature built for infinite sky, folded into its smallest form because there's nowhere to open up. It bumps against fluorescent lights, searching for any corridor wide enough to let it spread. There isn't one. Jean Jacket's wingspan is 250 feet, and the widest hallways in the backrooms might be 12 feet across.
Wait, so he can't break? If he's so fucking big, why the fuck he can't break the back rooms? Like, that nigga's is he an entity, or is he like a motherfucking extraterrestrial being? Which one is it?
It's like shoving a 747 into a subway tunnel and expecting it to work. What makes this tragic instead of just pathetic is that Jean Jacket only ever knew freedom, open atmosphere, the entire sky is its hunting ground. Now it's stuck in a cage it can't see the walls of because the walls just keep going on forever. It tries to reach the 5th area, the one with the fake outdoor neighborhood and a simulated night sky, because that's the closest thing to open air anywhere in the complex. But getting there means miles of yellow corridors it physically cannot fit through, so it wanders, bumps into ceilings, and folds tighter and tighter. The life form finds it eventually. Jean Jacket has this instinct where it
how tight does it fold?
anything that looks away, which means the life form's voice mimicry can bait it into striking at empty hallways over and over until exhaustion wins. The biggest threat out of all of the monsters we're going to talk about doesn't die in combat. It starves, confused, waiting for a sky that isn't coming back. The creature that terrorized California couldn't survive a ceiling. Scale means nothing when the arena you're in doesn't even fit you. Jean Jacket was too big for this place, but the next one was built for exactly this kind of space. Dark, cramped, full of screens and shadows. An analog horror creature made for the same vibe that the backrooms run.
You know, I want to start watching analog horror. Because I like how distorted their creatures look. They look creepy to you. Stop being pussy. Why are you watching at 3 a.m.? Because it's the vibe. I really was supposed to start it at like 3 a.m. on the dot, but you know, I have to pick out some videos and upload another video that's also dropping at 3 o'clock. Y'all should go check that out on my YouTube. Yeah, with your mouth
on. But too bad, screens don't work properly here. The Locust is
your
everything the
knees.
Backrooms should be afraid of, at least on paper. This thing comes from an analog horror series by Dr. Nowhere.
What's it
Its whole
called?
deal, at least on, don't work properly here. The Locust is everything the
The
Backrooms
Locust.
should be afraid of, at least on paper. This thing comes from an analog horror series by Dr. Nowhere, and its whole deal is scary in a very specific way. It shows up on TV screens and speaks in a childlike voice to draw you closer. Then it breaks through the glass, physically punches through, and eats you from the inside out. When it's done, your body looks completely normal. You're just hollow. It's built for dark rooms, old electronics, and that low-budget, creepy aesthetic the Backrooms practically invented. If any outside creature should thrive here, it's this one. Except there are no properly working screens anymore. The interference that scrambles cameras also kills any television. The Locust's main trick, breaking through screens to attack, is just gone. It can't do the thing it was designed for, and it figures this out about 30 seconds after arriving. But it's got backup. The Locust uses voice mimicry to lure prey closer, the same basic playbook as the life form. Creepy sounds in the hallway, voices that shouldn't be there, which would be great, except the life form has been running that routine here for decades. They would meet eventually, these two tall, dark figures making sounds that don't belong to them, both hunting the same corridors the same way. The Locust is fast and smart, but the life form is native. It knows how sound travels here. It knows every turn. And when they finally clash, speed versus the wire claws, organ tricks versus face turn. Smart, but the life form.
Yo, so like, how would you think they will fight though? How y'all think they will fight? Like, you think they would like swing like slow as fuck, or they will like really be throwing hands for real? Like, how would that interaction would be? You know, Death Battle. If Death Battle do an analogical horror versus a backrooms creature, that shit will go crazy. That shit will go crazy. That shit will definitely go crazy.
Is native. It knows how sound travels here. It knows every turn. And when they finally clash, speed versus the wire claws, organ tricks versus face encompassing kills, the home field advantage decides it. The analog horror creature that we invented loses to the one that we didn't. Because you can't out-creep the thing that invented creeping. The
He
Locust is a
lose?
tourist using local tactics in a local's territory. And that's a fight tourists always lose. 2 deaths in, and we haven't even gotten to the best one yet. Because yes,
No, for
there
real,
is a
like,
mean
2
pick
deaths
in
is
this
already
lineup. And honestly,
crazy.
after watching a 250-foot predator and the Locust die, the meme dying instantly almost feels like a relief. All right, let's get this one out of the way. Hatsune Miku.
Hold on, y'all. Let me plug up. Y'all niggas peep the Death Note blanket.
Yes, Hatsune Miku is software. That's it. She's a Vocaloid, a voice synthesizer with an anime avatar.
Bro, who the fuck is this?
That the internet decided to treat like a real person. And some people decided to treat her a little bit too much like a person, if you catch my drift. But she has no body.
But my thing, how the fuck is she a horror character? Wait, what? How the fuck is she a what?
No physical form.
What horror
she
movie?
exists as data on servers and in the shared imagination of about 300 million creepy fans worldwide. The lore argument for her survival goes like this. Because so many people believe in Miku, she's technically a tulpa. Basically something that exists because enough people believe in it.
What?
If that's true, she can't really die. She exists everywhere there's internet and a working device.
But
With infinite
how is she a horror character though? You damn near wasted a fucking spot adding her in there.
backup copies and no single point of failure. The problem is that there's no internet in the back rooms and no devices that work properly.
Yeah, there is
The
no internet in the
interference that
back room.
kills cameras and fries the monitors means that there's nowhere for a digital being to exist. Miku doesn't enter the back rooms and fight bravely against impossible odds. She enters and immediately has nowhere to be. She doesn't scream or fade dramatically. She just stops existing. 1 second she's a concept that millions of people love. The next she's just some file that the dimension doesn't support. The backrooms doesn't even notice her. It didn't even kill her on purpose. She just dies because she can't even live in the environment. But at least Miku didn't suffer, unfortunately.
Damn, that's
God, I wish
3-0.
she did. Why does anybody like this thing? I don't know. But it's time to talk about what the backrooms produces when it tries to remember a person. Now let's move on to Captain Clark. Captain Clark isn't from a horror franchise. He was made here. In the 2026 A24 Backrooms movie, we learn what happens when the dimension tries to remember someone who passed through. It creates these things things called still lifes, which are
Mhm.
copies of people built from the Backroom's attempt to hold on to their memory. Most of them come out wrong, with
You know, that's kind of like the same concept of like of haunted houses. When somebody dies inside the house, like their memory gets replayed in that house because, like, you know, the energy got absorbed inside of the walls, and you know it's kind of like a playback feature on like movies and shit. Fun fact. So if you're looking for a house and somebody died in it, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna see their ghost because it's just either a distant memory that's been placed there because somebody lived there for so long, and you know it's that playback feature, or your house is actually haunted. But just don't buy no house where it's haunted at. Do your research, please.
bad proportions, limbs where limbs shouldn't be, and faces that look almost right until you actually focus on them. Most still lifes are harmless. They wander the halls, knock on
I can't wait to them to make an uncanny movie. I'll boy, I can't wait for them to make something like shit like that.
doors sometimes and flip light
An
switches for no
an
reason.
analog
They're
horror
creepy,
movie
sure,
and a,
but
oh
not
my
really
god,
aggressive.
an uncanny
like my
movie.
ex-wife Becky. They're like
Tough.
echoes that forgot what they were supposed to be
This nigga got a dick, bro. Long ass arms, short ass legs.
echoing. The exception is when the original person was an angry person. Clark was a furniture store owner who dressed up as a pirate for his own commercials. Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire, yo ho ho! That was the brand. He wasn't a monster or a killer. He was just a guy with a temper and control issues. The kind who blamed everyone else when things went wrong. Something I can relate to, because why would I ever be the problem? And when the Backrooms copied him, it didn't just take his appearance. It grabbed his psychology and then cranked everything up and stripped away anything that wasn't rage. The result is 8 feet of disturbing pirate mascot that does not stop. It can't be reasoned with, it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need to eat or sleep or think. It just moves through the corridors, killing whatever it finds, running on amp.
Y'all think I can beat like a backrooms creature? Y'all think I can whoop his ass? I think I could beat a backroom creature's ass. I ain't gonna lie. I'll beat the brakes off a bitch ass nigga.
Amplified fury that used to belong to a guy who sold Ottomans for a living. This is what the Backrooms makes on its own. No imported monsters, no outside help, just a dimension that remembered one angry person and turned that memory into something unkillable. Every single creature that we talk about after this is competing with something that has permanent home field advantage. Captain Clark is the benchmark, and most of what's coming doesn't clear it. Up next is something that should clear it easily though. An actual god who's ancient, patient, and powerful enough to
They added Sukuna.
collect children's souls for thousands
Oh,
of
no.
years. If anything can handle
didn't
what the
add
Backrooms
Sukuna in
throws at it, surely it's
Y'all
a
think Sukuna can survive the backrooms? I think he can, bro.
deity. Let's
But
see how
yeah, I think he can because he could break domains, and a backroom is damn near like a domain.
that works out. Bagul has been doing this since before Rome fell. He's the thing from Sinister.
Oh,
an
Agul. I wonder
ancient
what they're gonna say about
child-eating
this.
deity who travels through photographs and films. He shows up in the corner of your home movies. He corrupts your kids over weeks until they murder the whole
I think
family.
Agul
and then he
probably
takes their
got some,
souls and moves on to the next house. He's patient,
I think
careful,
Agul
and
probably
allegedly
got this.
unstoppable.
He's just
been
either
collecting
gonna
for
be a
thousands of
tie
years
or
without a
he-
single
I don't
loss in
know.
his record. There are no photographs here, no films, no children though. That's it. That's the whole problem. Bagul's entire operation requires media that doesn't exist here and victims that aren't present. Any image that tries to form gets corrupted. The dimension just won't hold them. There are no pictures to travel through, no family units to break apart. There are barely any people at all, and the ones who do wander through are adults with nothing left to lose. We watch him try anyway. He would reach for the walls looking for any surface that might hold his reflection, but nothing works. The wallpaper won't keep him. The mold just sits there. He can't travel because there's nowhere to travel through. He can't do the thing that he spent thousands of years perfecting. The Locust at least got a fight. It went up against the life form and lost in combat, which is still a death that makes sense for a horror creature. But
Right.
Bagul doesn't get that dignity. He just stands there in a yellow hallway, an ancient god with no church, waiting for something that's never going to come. He doesn't die dramatically, he fades. He's a god dissolving into nothing because the place doesn't have any doors that he knows how to use.
Damn.
Being a god means nothing if the place doesn't have your tools. Bagul isn't killed by the backrooms, but he's just left there holding the bag, putting the fries in the bag.
Yeah.
Bro, all of bro's powers completely useless if he doesn't have like a mirror or a picture or anything to show up his all his spooky stuff in. Moving on, for the first time in this whole video, our next horror monster is something that looks around the back rooms and doesn't panic. The lipstick face demon from Insidious rules a place called the Further, a dark dimension between life and death. Time doesn't work right there, and everything looks like a broken copy of the real world. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So when he steps into the back rooms and sees infinite yellow hallways, walls that don't connect properly, and something hunting
That man cracked his domain expansion.
in the distance, he doesn't freeze up. He just recognizes it. This is just a different version of what he's been running for thousands of years. Different wallpaper, but the same basic job. The weird geometry doesn't confuse him because his home dimension works the same way. Time acting strange isn't scary when you've spent centuries somewhere time already means nothing. While every other creature on this list stumbled around trying to understand what was happening, the demon starts mapping. He uses telekinesis to shove furniture against doorways and block off corridors. He melts into shadows to scout without being seen. He finds a section of the complex the life form doesn't patrol, and he starts setting up shop. That's the difference between him and everyone else. He's not trying to escape or fight his way out. He's doing what he does back home.
Yeah, he just
claiming
living
territory, building a foothold, and carving out a little piece of hell inside someone else's nightmare. And it works. Sort of. He survives, he carves out space. He's the first thing in this lineup that actually adapts instead of dies confused. The catch is that he's never leaving. The backrooms didn't kill him, but it didn't lose him either.
He made it a home.
How to decorate his cell because he is stuck here forever. But that's not really winning because, you know, you can't really escape the backrooms, so you're kind of stuck there forever. So that's not really a win in my opinion. But let's now move on to the autopsy of Jane Doe. Jane Doe is already dead. That's the first thing you need to understand about her. She's a perfect...
I actually never finished this movie. It's on Tubi though, but I never finished this movie.
preserved corpse who was tortured during the Salem witch trials until she became the witch they accused her of being. She doesn't move, she doesn't speak, and she doesn't chase anyone down hallways. She just lies there, and reality warps around her body. When she's nearby, weather changes, doors lock on their own. Pain transfers from her broken bones to anyone unlucky enough to be close. She's been doing this since the 1690s, and nothing has stopped her because she isn't really doing anything. How do you fight something that hurts you just by existing? The Backrooms would try its usual approach, with the growth, the mutant bacteria coating the walls, in an attempt to absorb her. But she's been dead for over 3 centuries, and whatever keeps her body intact isn't something the bacteria can handle. It can't digest her, can't figure out what she's made of, and can't drag her into the system. So the Backrooms does what it does with everything it can't break down. It adds her to the collection. Her passive reality warping starts bleeding into the dimension's own weirdness. The walls near her flicker differently than other walls. Time moves at its own pace in her radius. When the Backrooms tries to make a still life copy of her, the copy comes out generating its own weather. Storms in single corridors, rain falling from ceilings with nothing behind them.
So she gonna amplify it? Oh. She's gonna fucking amplify the fucking Backrooms. That's crazy. Imagine like you walk into a room, it's just a big ass hurricane.
And honestly, that might be the creepiest outcome
sick.
so far. Jane Doe isn't fighting the Backrooms or surviving it in any active way.
Adapting.
She's just becoming another strange thing,
another
dimension
entity
full of strange things, absorbed without even noticing it happened. The next one has spent 3 movies and a decade of fan love being completely unkillable. He comes back from headshots, he comes back from decapitation, and he's never lost a fight he couldn't walk away from.
Ooh.
I need you to brace yourself because this one is gonna hurt. Art the Clown is a fan favorite from everybody, including me.
Hell yeah,
and there's a good
I love
reason
Art.
for that. He's funny in the way that only truly horrible things can be funny. The exaggerated faces, the silent movie gestures, the little...
I wonder how he's gonna survive the Backrooms. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I wonder how Art gonna do.
He does before murdering someone with a hacksaw. He doesn't talk, he just mimes his way through the most creative violence you've ever seen on film. And somehow you are both laughing while also being disturbed and disgusted. But in the Backrooms, he has no audience that is watching him. You would watch him do his bits to empty hallways. The dramatic weapon reveals for nobody. The cartoonish double takes at fluorescent lights that don't care. The gleeful spins before a kill that isn't coming because there's nothing here to perform for. It's funny at first, but then it turns into something sad. A clown without an audience isn't scary. He's just pathetic. And Art starts to realize that maybe for the first time ever, that his whole existence and meaning is performing. Everything he does needs someone watching. The grin means nothing if nobody sees it. The routine is just a guy waving at air. So he wanders and searches, and eventually he finds the life form. For a second, you think this is it, the fight that Art's been building towards. Art swings his bag of weapons. Hacksaw meets Wire Claws. Both take damage and keep going, but the life form doesn't react. No flinch, no scream, no appreciation.
I don't think Art would he would take any damage either. He can't die, right?
Its face opens where expression should be, and there's nothing inside that understands what a performance is. They both retreat, and Art survives the encounter. There's a catch, though. Art is able to be resurrected from hell. The little pale girl, Victoria, the whole chain of demonic backup that brings him back whenever he dies, well, that chain doesn't reach into the back rooms. There's no connection there. So he would wander for days with no souls collected, nobody to watch him act, and when he finally goes down, he wouldn't be able to come back. Yes, the grinning clown dies in the yellow hallway. The Backrooms doesn't even know it.
So he dies to a domain expansion? Holy shit.
Won the fight. While everyone else that we've been talking about this video has been dying or barely holding on, Black Phillip from The Witch walks into the backrooms and sees a business opportunity. In The Witch, he spends the entire movie slowly destroying a Puritan family before asking the question that made audiences deeply uncomfortable. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? He doesn't fight, he doesn't chase.
I've never
he
seen
finds
this.
the cracks in your faith and your relationships and pours himself into them until you sign your soul away. He's been doing this since before humans invented writing. The Backrooms just handed him the easiest job of his entire existence. Just look at the type of people who end up here. Lost people, broken people, wanderers who haven't seen sunlight or a friendly face in weeks. By the time Black Phillip finds them, the Dimension has already done 90% of his work. The mental breakdown that he usually takes months to set up, well, the Backrooms can handle it in 3 days free of charge. He doesn't even have
Damn. So this is like his playground.
to try. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously hits different when you're saying it to someone who can't remember their family's faces anymore. Wanderers sign away their souls for the promise of escape, and Black Phillip collects transaction after transaction, soul after soul, and the Backrooms becomes his new territory. The uncomfortable part of this is that the most successful thing in this whole video isn't fighting the Backrooms or escaping it. It's using it to become even more evil. The devil literally found a business partner, and they're working together now. Every other creature died or got stuck, and Black Phillip just stays winning. But he's still picking up souls one at a time. He's still a visitor who's making the best of the local conditions. What's coming next is different, something that isn't going to collect anything at all. It's going to become the Backrooms so completely that the dimension itself changes.
Pinhead.
That's the whole reason I even made this video. The Babadook. The
Oh,
Babadook is grief.
I knew.
It's not a
Didn't I mention that in the beginning, the Babadook? Am I tripping? No, I don't think so.
a monster that represents grief or a metaphor for it. It is grief, given a coat and a hat and a teeth. In its original movie, the thing feeds on loss you haven't dealt with. The more you deny it, the stronger it gets. You can't destroy it, you just learn to live with it. Keep it in the basement, feed it scraps forever, and that's the best case scenario. And it just walked into the largest vault of unfinished grief in any dimension. Because look at what the Backrooms actually is. Every person who fell through the floor and died alone, they're still here. Not their bodies, but their grief. The mourning that never got to finish, families who never found out what happened, lives that ended mid-thought with no closure, no goodbye, nothing. The still lifes are the Backrooms trying to hold on to these people. The whole place attempting to remember everyone it couldn't save. It runs on loss that it refuses to release. For the Babadook, this is not a threat. This is a feast. We would watch it grow, not hunting, not chasing, but just expanding, absorbing the grief of 1,000 unfinished mornings like a sponge in an ocean. The Backrooms tries to copy it, and the copy comes out stronger than the original because the dimension always amplifies the worst parts. Now there are two, and then more. The Babadook doesn't survive the Backrooms. It becomes the Backrooms. Grief merging with grief until you can't tell where one stops and the other starts. Every future wanderer won't just face weird hallways in the life form. They'll face something that knows exactly what they've lost and will use it against them forever. The Backrooms was already a nightmare, but now it's gotten even worse. The The monsters that survive aren't always the strongest. They're the ones built like the Backrooms is, that are patient, ambient, and feeding on what you can't let go of. The things that fight die here. The things that seep remain. The scariest thing that we've ever created isn't something that attacks. It's something that waits and feeds and grows forever. And that's why the Babadook would go on to literally become the Backrooms itself. If you've enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and comment down below.
Hell yeah.